Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Hoi. Today on the way to my interpreting gig, this thought came into my mind. I've never wanted to become a doctor, but looking around me and looking at how respected doctors are, look at my colleagues, some of them who are roughly my age and they are already a medical resident. They're working at the hospital as a junior doctor. They get so much respect. They are so needed. People want to talk to them. People want to approach them for questions, for advice, for consultations. And I look at myself, who am I? I'm a nurse. I don't have that sort of aura to me. Continuing with this line of thought, I thought about what if I am to pursue medical school at this age. I'm already nearing my mid-20s, and you know, doctors initially they don't really make a lot of money. To be making banks as a doctor, you first need to go through medical school, 5 years of medical school, in which you're likely not going to be making any money. You're probably going to live off of your savings or your parents' savings. So medical school for 5 years, and then after graduation, you need to secure an internship for 1 to 2 years, and you're essentially working at, I don't know, minimum wage. And then after that, you become a resident. You get rotated. I don't know how long it is that you're planning to be a medical resident for. And then after that, if you choose to specialize in the field, then you need to work for another 2 to 3 years. So all of that to become the top dog, the consultant. Most people are not going to make it. Most people are not going to become a consultant. That's where all the money is. A consultant is like a doctor who doesn't really work on the ward, but they get called to come to a job or to give advice, or for people, for other junior doctors to come to seek further clarification. Those kinds of doctors, they make the most ridiculous amounts of money. And to get there, it's another 10 years. And by the time that I can officially call myself a doctor, I would probably be around like 30, 35 at least. And so if I think about it, what meaning does being a doctor give me? The first few years, I'm not going to be making banks, so all I have for motivation is some sort of personal meaning that I derive from being a junior doctor. And then once I've done my time, once I become a medical resident or consultant, that's when I can say that I have achieved some sort of professional meaning. This kind of thing, I think, is what kills a lot of people's mojo. What is mojo? Mojo is the positive spirit that originates from the outside and radiates to the outside. When you say someone has mojo, that means someone is confident in what they do and they just have this overall positive aura about them because they find their work meaningful, and because of this they achieve tangible success. Reflecting on my job as an interpreter and as a nurse, they are not something that I would say will make me rich. And if you ask any of my colleagues, you would find the same sort of answer. Why did you become a nurse? Why did you become a paramedic? Why did you become a midwife, a physiotherapist? Why? Very rarely they will say because of the money. Most of them will say they want to help people. I want to help people. People who work in this line of jobs will derive a lot of personal satisfaction, a lot of personal meaning out of being a nurse or being a paramedic. Very rarely you will see a person who say that they derive some sort of professional achievements out of these things. Because technically you're not making any breakthrough discoveries, or you're not becoming more famous, or you're not making a lot of money, so to speak. So I know people define success in different ways, but when you think of these careers, you don't think of personal gains as in money, status, or notoriety, stuff like that. It has a lot to do with your personal meaning. Like, you find a lot of meaning out of these things. I want to contrast this to something else, such as being an influencer or an entrepreneur, or God forbid, a TikTok star or an OnlyFans creator. Very rarely you will find people saying that they find some sort of personal meaning from these jobs. And yet you can clearly see that people in this line of work derive a lot of professional meaning, and they can get a lot of financial gain. I think in an ideal world, you would be doing something which brings you a lot of meaning, both in terms of personal and also professional. Ideally, you would do things that will help you achieve personal as well as professional achievement. But this is often not the case. You see a lot of people, successful people, billionaires, they've got everything. They are an owner of a successful company. They have millions of workers. They have to manage a lot of people underneath them, and yet some of them, they feel empty. They feel like their professional and their personal identity do not seem to match up, and the reverse is true as well. You find a lot of these people who find a lot of personal meaning in their work, such as social workers, nurses, doctors, paramedics. They become burnt out and become resentful of their peers who might be in a different career and are making more money than them. They might be comparing themselves to those people and say, well, what they are doing is not really meaningful. Being an entrepreneur, being an OnlyFans creator, what meaning does that give you? But yet they feel resentful because they cannot make as much money as them. So I think there needs to be a balance. You need to reconcile those two identities together. You're not defined by your job. There's a quote from the movie Fight Club. You're not defined by your job, the car that you drive, the clothes that you wear. And I feel that this quote is so true. Sure, I'm a nurse. I don't make banks, but I am not just a nurse. I like sitting down here making videos for you guys, pointless videos, because it gives me a lot of personal meaning. I find meaning out of doing this. I find meaning out of being a nurse as well. I feel like I'm moving forward in a meaningful way. Professionally, I feel like I'm learning new things every day, and that's enough. That's enough. I see all my colleagues, a lot of them very, very young, very motivated, very successful on paper, becoming burnt out, becoming resentful, becoming fed up with their career because they took on way too much too soon. They were overly invested and overly committed to the career. You see them coming back to uni, doing all these advanced degrees, getting more specialized, getting higher education. 1 year out after graduation, they jump straight on back to uni. I'm not judging them, but I see a lot of these examples of people who overly committed to their career and now they're burnt out. They don't really enjoy it anymore. They don't really find meaning in their work anymore because now it's all about making money, about advancing yourself, advancing your career, getting a higher position, getting more, I don't know, more pay. For what? Are you being true to yourself? Is this what you really want to do? Ask yourself this question. I know the trade-off isn't worth it. Sure, being a doctor is very prestigious. People are gonna respect you more. And I really think that doctors, they are a blessing to the world. For those of you who are pursuing medicine right now, for those of you who are doctors right now, I want to say that I really admire you, and God, you've been blessed. This is your calling. But for me, the trade-off is not worth it. I know that I cannot sacrifice my sanity, my authenticity. I cannot be untrue to myself. I cannot claim that I want to become a doctor because I only want it because I want the respect and the money. I'm not willing to go through 10 years of studying and working in the medical field just to get to a respectable level. I'm not willing to do that. And sometimes you just got to be true to yourself, man. This is the key to fulfillment in life, I think. And same thing here with my career as well. I know my colleagues, my bosses, eventually they're gonna find these videos of me ranting. I'm telling you, I'm being true to myself. Don't you want that? You want people to be true to themselves? You want a diverse team. You don't want people who are stuck in this corporate rat race, always trying to climb up the ladder and getting more money and then losing their soul in the process. I don't want to do that. I want to be myself. I want to be a nurse. I want to bring what I have to the table. I want to also pursue other things. That's how I derive meaning in this world. Will I eventually gonna specialize in something further? I don't know. I know that exactly what I do will be exactly what I want to do. So who knows? I might be part-time nurse. part-time musician, part-time, I don't know what else that I could do. The world is your oyster. There's so many possibilities. You don't have to restrict your identity to this one thing, but don't deny your identity either, because you need to be true to yourself. That's all I want to say. If you're still watching, God bless. I hope you're doing well out there. Stay strong, and I'll see you next time. Peace.